Good morning. We find ourselves at Wednesday of the first full week of the great penitential season of Lent. This week I would like to recall for all of us the optional memorial which we celebrated this past Monday, March 7th, the feast of the two female martyrs, Perpetua and Felicity. And of course you would recognize their names since they are included in the first Eucharistic prayer, the Roman canon. But the reason I would just like to spend a few moments speaking about them, especially since we're in the Lenten season, is because of the example which both of them gave in laying down their lives literally in martyrdom for their fidelity to Christ and to his church and to the Catholic faith. And when we think about martyrdom itself, we have to think in two different categories, I should say. The strict sense, the meaning of martyrdom is what Saints Perpetua and Felicity did. They literally laid down their lives. They shed their blood to the point of death for Christ and the faith and the church. But then there's the wider meaning of martyrdom, which comes from the Greek word marturein, which means to be a witness to. And in that sense, all of us, especially in the season of Lent, should be martyrs. In other words, by the example we give, not that we run around looking for compliments or, hoping people notice. Jesus condemned that in that gospel for Ash Wednesday. But it doesn't mean that the example we give by devout and fervent prayer, performing acts of penance or mortification, and certainly performing works of charity, almsgiving, assisting others in need, whatever that need may be, that example is martyrdom in the wider sense. And when we celebrate the feast of the martyrs, whether it's in Lent or outside of Lent, whatever time of the liturgical year in our church year it happens to be, we should remember the two senses of martyrdom. And while you and I may not be literally called to lay down our lives and shed our blood for Christ and the church and our faith, it's always a possibility given these times, but while we might not be called to that strict martyrdom, we all are called, because of our baptisms and confirmations, to martyrdom in that wider sense of giving the good example. And one of the things that keeping the discipline of Lent helps us do is become much more alert to and vigilant about the example we give other people by the way we speak, by the way we act, certainly, and even by the way we think, because that always has an effect on our speech and our actions. And so, as we have just celebrated this beautiful feast of these two great martyrs of the early church, and so famous were they by the example they gave of their fidelity to Christ, submitting to death rather than to betray and deny him and the church, with Saints Perpetua and Felicity, so too should we pray in this season of Lent for a stronger martyrdom in our own lives. In other words, that we be even better witnesses, not to ourselves, but witnesses to Christ and our precious faith by the way we speak and think and act. And so may you continue to grow in your virtue of martyrdom throughout this entire season of Lent and be prepared to celebrate the beautiful feast of all feasts in our church, that of Easter Sunday.